AITA for kicking my husband out of the delivery room after he brought his mom instead of supporting me? Hey Reddit, I really need some perspective because I'm stuck in a whirlwind of emotions and family drama, and I don't know if I'm the one who's out of line. I, 30F, recently gave birth to our first child, a baby girl, and what was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life turned into a complete nightmare. My husband, Tom, 32M, and I have always had a good relationship, but we've been dealing with some ongoing tension when it comes to his mom, Linda, 58F. Linda has always been difficult, to say the least. She has a habit of inserting herself into our lives in ways that make me uncomfortable. From constantly calling Tom to give unsolicited advice to showing up unannounced at our house, she's never been one to respect boundaries. Tom usually brushes it off, saying she means well, or that's just how she is. I've tried to be patient and understanding, but Linda's overbearing nature has always been a point of contention in our marriage. Still, I never thought it would escalate to the point where it would ruin one of the most important moments of our lives. Tom and I had agreed months before the due date that when I went into labor, it would just be the two of us in the delivery room. I wanted a private, intimate experience. Just me and my husband welcoming our baby into the world. I made it clear to Tom that I didn't want anyone else there, especially not his mom. He assured me that he understood and promised me that it would just be us. Fast forward to the big day. I went into labor early in the morning, and Tom rushed me to the hospital. The contractions were coming fast, and I was in a lot of pain, but I was also excited. This was it, the moment we've been waiting for. Tom was by my side, holding my hand, telling me how proud he was of me. For a brief moment, I felt like everything was perfect. But then Tom stepped out, saying he needed to grab a quick coffee. I didn't think much of it. I figured he needed a break and that he'd be right back. But a few minutes later, the door swung open, and there he was standing next to Linda. I was in the middle of a contraction when they walked in, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Linda was beaming, acting like she was part of some grand event that she was entitled to witness. I immediately felt a surge of anger and panic. This was not what we'd agreed on. Tom tried to calm me down, saying Mom was just too excited to stay away, and that she just wants to support us. Linda, on the other hand, walked in like she owned the place, making herself comfortable in the room, and even joking about how the hospital bed looked just like the one she had when she gave birth to Tom. I was beyond livid. Linda then started giving me unsolicited advice, completely disregarding the fact that I was in the middle of labor and clearly did not want her there. She went on about breathing techniques, telling me to just relax and that I was making too much noise. She even commented that in her day, women didn't get epidurals because they were tougher. I was already struggling, and her comments made me feel worse. It was as if every word out of her mouth was a reminder that I wasn't doing things the way she thought I should. I looked at Tom, expecting him to step in, but he just stood there awkwardly, clearly torn between me and his mom. I asked him through gritted teeth why Linda was there, reminding him of our agreement, but he just shrugged and mumbled something about how Linda couldn't stand the thought of missing the birth. I felt completely betrayed. This was supposed to be our moment, and instead, I felt like a spectator in my own life. Linda's presence was making everything worse. She kept throwing out random pieces of advice, like telling me when to push as if she were part of the medical team. I was on the verge of tears, partly from the pain, but mostly from feeling so unsupported. Tom kept trying to appease both sides, saying things like, Mom's just trying to help, which only fueled my frustration. It all came to a head when Linda started talking about how she had delivered Tom naturally and how women these days rely too much on medicine. I lost it. I was exhausted, in pain, and utterly fed up. I told Tom that if he couldn't respect my wishes, he needed to leave the room and take his mom with him. Tom looked stunned, like he couldn't believe I was serious, but at that moment, I didn't care. I demanded that they both get out. Tom tried to argue, saying I was overreacting and that I was being unfair to his mom. But I was done. The nurses, seeing how distressed I was, intervened. One of them firmly but politely asked Linda to leave, explaining that my stress levels were too high and that I needed a calm environment. Linda huffed and puffed, storming out of the room while muttering under her breath about how she was just trying to help. Tom stood there for a moment, looking conflicted, but when I told him again that he could either stay with me or leave with his mom, he hesitated for a second before following Linda out. I was devastated. I couldn't believe that Tom had chosen his mom over me in such a critical moment. I delivered our beautiful baby girl with the help of the wonderful nurses and doctors, and while it was still the most incredible moment of my life, there was a sadness lingering in the background. My husband wasn't there to witness it because he couldn't set boundaries with his mom. After the birth, Tom came back into the room, looking sheepish. He held our daughter and kept saying how beautiful she was, but I couldn't even look at him. We hadn't spoken about what happened in the delivery room, and the tension was palpable. Linda, of course, wasted no time playing the victim. She's been telling everyone that I kicked her out and deprived her of the chance to see her granddaughter born. She's been calling Tom nonstop, complaining about how I'm trying to keep her grandchild away from her. Tom is furious with me. He says I overreacted and ruined the birth experience for him and his mom. He thinks I was too harsh and that I should apologize to Linda for making her feel unwelcome. Even some of his family members have chimed in, saying that I was wrong and that I should have just let Linda stay to keep the peace. They've accused me of being selfish and trying to isolate Tom from his family. We've been arguing constantly since we brought our daughter home. Tom sleeps in the guest room, and every time we try to talk about what happened, it turns into a fight. He keeps saying that his mom was just trying to help, and I keep telling him that he failed to support me when I needed him the most. I'm exhausted, and I feel like I'm losing my mind. I thought this was supposed to be a special time for us, but instead, it's turned into a never-ending argument, and I don't know how to fix it. I feel like I had every right to want privacy and my husband's undivided support during such a vulnerable moment. But now, the family drama is spiraling out of control, and I'm second-guessing myself. Was I wrong to stand my ground and kick them out, or should I have just put up with Linda for the sake of keeping the peace? So, Reddit, AITA for kicking my husband and his mom out of the delivery room? Should I have handled things differently, or was I right to prioritize my own needs in that moment? This version adds more emotional depth, context, and drama while retaining the essence of the original story. It delves into the characters' motivations, expands on the conflicts, and amplifies the tension, making it engaging and relatable for readers. Let me know if you'd like any further adjustments.